Let's explain how substrate concentration, temperature, and pH affects enzyme reaction rates. Let's first go over substrate concentration. You can see on the x-axis in this graph, we have substrate concentration, and on the y-axis is the rate of reaction of the enzyme. What we see in the graph is as we increase substrate concentration, we are also going to increase the reaction rate of the enzyme. However, this will top off at a point called the point of saturation. At this point, it doesn't matter how much more substrate we're going to add in, the reaction rate will be the same. This is because at this point, the enzyme will always have substrate in its active site and will be reacting as fast as it can. So adding more substrate won't increase the reaction anymore. Next, we have temperature. We can see temperature on the x-axis, and again, the rate of reaction is on the y-axis. As temperature increases in an enzymatic reaction, we can see that the rate of reaction will also increase. That's until it gets to the optimal temperature, where afterwards it's going to go down until it gets to 0 again. The reason why the reaction rate increases with temperature is because the collisions between the substrate molecules and the enzyme increase because of the kinetic energy increasing. All enzymes will have an optimal temperature that they work at. This is the temperature where there is a massive amount of collisions going on between the substrate and the enzyme, specifically at the active site. Afterward, the system will get too hot for the enzyme to exist in its functional form. What that means is the enzyme will denature or unfold, and it will lose its structure, thus losing its function. The pH graph looks very similar. You can see again on the x-axis we have the pH, and on the y is the rate of reaction. Now all enzymes will have a specific pH that they are optimal for. And what happens away from that pH on both sides is the enzyme is again going to denature. And this occurs because the pH of the environment that the enzyme is in will break apart those bonds that keep the enzyme together nice and folded in its proper structure and function. Whenever the pH becomes too acidic or basic, it denatures and unfolds. So when an enzyme denatures and unfolds, it loses its structure, thus losing its function, and it's not going to have the proper shape to bind with the substrate.